So some pretty exciting things going on. Well, guys, tonight we have a special mystery guest that I'm going to be introducing here in a minute. And he's been a pro athlete for 30 years with the American IFBB Pro Bodybuilding Circuit. In 1993, he won Junior Nationals. In 2006, he took 7th Mr. Olympian. 2007, took 7th in Ironman. Multiple top 5 finishes in the big shows. 2nd at the Arnold Brazil, 2nd at the Australian Brazil in 2013, and then 3rd at the Arnold Classic, and it's none other. I'm pretty darn excited tonight, and I thought it would be prudent, to have someone that is a pro athlete. I was very excited when this guy said, okay, I'm going to try to use your product, and I will know if it is the real thing or not. So when the X-Man, Tony, Toney, Freeman, said, I'm going to try this product, I was very, very excited and honored. Tony, are you with us tonight, my friend?
Yes, sir. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, everybody.
I'm doing fantastic, Tony. Thanks for being on tonight. We appreciate your time, my friend. How's it going?
Everything's going great, man. I'm just getting off the road. I was out this weekend doing some self-development out in California. My mentor, Ramasio Fulcher, was doing a little thing for his group. We're not in the same company, but we really get along, and he invited me out, so I went out there and did that, and just been on the road and just making it happen, brother, making it happen.
Wow. Well, I remember when I first talked to you about this product and you were going to try it. I was excited because of your career. Tony, tell everybody a little bit about your career in pro bodybuilding.
Well,
I
turned pro at a late age, the right young age of 36, and usually most athletes are retiring in their mid-30s. And it was a slow start. I didn't really start doing well until I was just about 40, and just basically, I had a long amateur career, so that's where I basically learned, a lot about the human body and how to, get in extreme condition. And then as a pro, turning pro at 250 pounds, they wanted me to compete at over 300 pounds, and I thought that was crazy. But, eventually I ended up getting there, and eventually I ended up being the top 5 in the world for, several years. And I retired at 49, almost 50 years old. So a lot of guys, I remember my last show, the Arnold Classic 2016. On my right side, it was a guy 21 years old, and on the left side was a guy 26 years old. And I was like, what am I doing up here with these children? I got kids older than them. So, but I learned that in order to ever reach your potential, you have to be healthy. You have to focus on your health. So, in other words, if you're a bodybuilder or whatever athlete you are, the healthier you are, the longer you can play or the longer you can participate. So that started my quest back in the early 2000s on, how do I extend my life? How do I keep myself young and vibrant and healthy to be able to compete and to reach my potential? So that's what, like I said, I've been following the ketogenic lifestyle, just getting all into anti-aging. And, of course, at the high level athletics, a lot of guys, especially older guys, are using HGH and hormone replacement. So I had my experiences with that. And so that leads me to where I am now. I'm just trying to maintain my youth, maintain my health. And Sylvester Solomon actually introduced me to this product. I think it was back in December, wasn't it, Joe? Like November, December, whenever it first came out.
I believe so. It may have been December, January, but it was pretty early in the game.
Yeah,
when you
right
got introduced to the product.
Yeah, and I'm a products guy, and you have to be skeptical when products come out because everybody says their product is the greatest ever or whatever. So I got some. I signed up as a customer, and when I first got it, being a man, I didn't read the directions, so I'm rubbing it on my abdomen, places like that where the fat was. I'm trying to get rid of. I'm thinking it's going to be a spot reducing type situation. And I got minimal results. I knew it was doing something, but I really couldn't say that it was working for me. And I was talking to one of my friends, one of my clients, Ryan Parker, and we started talking about it, and he was going crazy over it. I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? He said, I said, where do you rub it? And he sent me a picture of of his forearm, the inside the forearm. I said, oh, okay. So immediately I started rubbing it there, and I won't say like it within seconds, but it wasn't long before I knew that I was doing it wrong. So I actually could tell that I was starting to not only feel results but see results, and I started doing that on a daily basis. And I was like, wow, this product is really, really legit. So that's when I called you, and I was like, you know what, man, I got to really give this stuff, a second try because, user error. I kind of missed out a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 bottles of doing it wrong. So I was kind of on the fence about it. But like I say, since I've been rubbing it on my inner arm, I've been getting really good results, better sleep, skin's definitely tighter. And I'm really not training that hard right now. I travel too much. And but I'm actually starting to get back into it, and so I will definitely be putting it to the test as far as doing it along with the intense training and with the diet. And that's kind of why I wanted to come on tonight and talk about, maximizing the benefits by with proper nutrition and proper stimulus. So.
Yeah, that's exciting. Hey, Tony, before we talk about that, you told me something when you were using injectables in your career of bodybuilding on what happened with your body. And I think everybody would, even though this isn't an injectable, for somebody, pro athlete, tell everyone what happened when you start using the injectables of like your weight, your muscle gain. When you told me that, I was just blown away. I thought it was awesome.
The key to triggering growth hormone, now you got to understand as a bodybuilder, I was trying to put on muscle mass, and you use it also for getting in shape, but the idea is to, maximum muscle mass with lean body mass anyway. So the first time I ever did HGH, I had some Humatrope, and we used like 1.5 IUs, which is, in the bodybuilding world, that's basically nothing, especially for somebody that was my size. But I had a diet that I was doing. It was all food. It was about 7,800 calories. And I remember I went from 242 to about 285. I started at 12% body fat and went to 4% body fat. And it was pretty amazing. I've never really seen anyone's body transform like that. But that's, like I say, that's why I'm here to talk about the way that you eat while you're on this to get your goals, because the nutrition is everything, really. The stimulus that the GH gives you when you apply it with proper nutrition and the timing of your nutrients, then you will maximize the benefit.
Wow. 12% body fat to 4% body fat, even though you put on, what was it, like, I think if I'm doing the math, like 43?
It was like 42, yeah. It was insane.
Wow.
It was I used to train at this little Sports Life, little fitness center. And I remember one day I was in there and the pump was like, it was so insane. I was almost embarrassed how crazy it was, because I'm training with a bunch of soccer moms in there. You know what I'm saying? It felt like I turned into the Incredible Hulk right in front of them. It was crazy.
That's pretty neat stuff. So it's a powerful thing, and I know it's different than what we're doing with the homeopathic transdermal, which is so exciting, because that's, we don't have to worry about the side effects, and we don't have people reporting, they're putting on that kind of muscle mass. But I'm noticing myself, there's a lot of us that work out. When I was at the meeting that we had over the weekend, just looking around the room, it seems like most of us are taking care of ourselves, at least getting in the gym, 2 or 3 or 4 times a week that I noticed, and everybody looked great. So I know I'm seeing my body fat turn into muscle, not in a crazy way of 20, 30 pounds of muscle mass, but I notice one of the things, Tony, that I see that I'm learning is don't get on the scale, because, women, they want to look at the weight, but if they're turning fat into muscle, into lean muscle, they need to pay more attention, I would imagine, to their clothing size and the way their clothes fit than what the scale says. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the scale is like a tape measure. You know what I'm saying? It really just tells you where you are right now. There's so many different variables that go into how much you weigh. It's, in bodybuilding, we always said it doesn't. They have no scales on stage. It's all about how you look. So if you weigh whatever, like in bodybuilding, you want to be as tight as possible but look as big as possible. So a lot of times you create that illusion of mass But the whole idea is to, is to slow down the aging process, is to increase your lean body mass, sleep better, just overall sense of well-being. That's what you should be focusing on when you use this product. So, as far as you weigh on the scale, every day when you go through your day, depending on how hydrated you are, depending on what you ate, depending on what you did, your weight is going to fluctuate X amount of pounds up and down. So that should never really be a concern. Because, like I say, us guys, we're not going to make you stand on the scale before we ask you out on the date or whatever. So.
Yeah. Well, I know that many people, men and women alike, are having experiences. I know my wife and I are. We love not just the way that it makes us look, talking about lean mass, but we love the way that it makes us feel in recovery. That's another thing. I mean, I'm 50 years old, and I'm recovering pretty darn quick, which is amazing to me. That's another thing from the HGH. What do you know about that?
Well, definitely. I don't really know the whole science behind it. I haven't really studied it like that. Like I'm a results guy, so a lot of people say I need to see the white papers and the research and all that. So I'm not that type of dude. I understand that when they do research in the lab, they have controlled variables. So they're going to be able to control what happens when they test in a product. In real life, we don't have controlled variables. Every day is a new day. We don't know what's going on from 1 minute to the next. So a lot of times those studies, they're irrelevant to everyday use. What I do know is when you're taking GH or you're using GH or even secreting GH, you want to have a low blood sugar. And in science and in research, they say, you want your blood sugar, in the 60s before it will have the proper effect. And I know a lot of people are not walking around with blood sugar in the 60s. It's just kind of hard, especially in America. But I tell people, if you want to maximize your GH production or your GH uptake, you want to make sure your blood sugar is low. So first thing in the morning after you fasted, it's a great time to take it. Post-workout is a great time to take it. A lot of people, they eat before they train, but if you train on an empty stomach, that would be a great time to take it. And then, of course, before bed, but I think even better is to have it by your bed, and if you wake up, to go to the restroom or something, take it like in the middle of the night because your blood sugar is going to be low, and that's also when your body's releasing its own GH. So those 4 or 5 ways would help you maximize the uptake and so you can get the more bang for your buck. Since it is a homeopathic, I think those things would be. If you consider doing those things, you would end up getting better results.
So, Tony, let me make sure I'm understanding you. Okay, the morning dose that you're talking about. I mean, that's easy. You wake up on an empty stomach, or if you do a workout on an empty stomach directly after. I got that. But what you said, I don't know how many people realize that. Now, I know what you're talking about for the night dose, but I don't know how many people caught that. And I want to reiterate because, I'm an arginine user, which is what's like a secretagogue. So I know they encourage you to use that at night. If you wake up, you take your arginine 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up to go to the restroom or something. That's the best time because it's going to help you secrete more. You're saying you can even use our HGH gel as such to maximize it, keep it on the nightstand. You wake up in the middle of the night, boom, put it on then and fall back asleep. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, when you're trying to be Mr. Olympia, what I'm saying, you end up, I used to hire people for their knowledge, and I've worked with the best in the business, a lot of really famous trainers and gurus and whatnot. And all those little secrets, like you're looking for every little edge that you can possibly get. And that's definitely one of them. That time of night, your body's, your blood sugar's low and your body's repairing itself. So think about it. That'd be the best time to apply that to help facilitate more and better results.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Is there anything gender specific that you can tell us nutrition-wise with men and women? Anything different? I'm just asking. I don't know. I just thought I would ask that question.
Well, I think a lot of people, when you get in I'm 51. When you get in your 50s, it's not about putting on muscle mass. It's more about holding on to what you already have and staying as lean as possible. So when you start talking about, what should I eat, what should I do, you want to make sure you have adequate protein, but you don't want to overdo the protein because a lot of people don't realize that 50% of protein that you take in is converted to glucose and used as energy. So, as older adults, we don't need as many carbs because we don't do as much. So I would say increase your for men and women, increase your healthy fats. I like to use like ghee and coconut cream and coconut oil and healthy oils like avocado oil, hemp oil, stuff like that. And I add that to my veggies, right, so to get the calories. And then I keep my carbohydrates around post-workout or post-activity. So say you do cardio in the morning, I'll put the gel on before you do cardio. And then after you finish cardio, maybe have a little carbs. And then after you finish your weight training, have a little carbs. But other than that, you can keep your carbs to a minimum. You can actually increase your healthy fat and then make sure you have adequate amount of protein, probably say 0.5 gram to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. And I'm just guessing because everybody's different. And also, when you start taking in more protein and more nutrients, you got to make sure you're using or you make sure you got your enzymes, your digestive enzymes. Absorption of nutrients is the most important thing, especially when you get older. Because by the time we reach our 40s and 50s and 60s, our digestive tracts are all worn out from all the processed food and the chemicals and all that over the years. So I developed this cleanse that I put my people on. I call it my 5-day keto quick start. And I put them on this cleanse to do a few things. Number one, it gets you in ketosis in the first 24 hours. And then secondly, it actually helps you purge toxins and parasites, which are robbing you of your nutrition. And then third, it's just something that gives you like a clean slate. So when you start eating, after you do the cleanse, when you start eating your meals again, you're kind of like, your absorption is maximized because you've cleared out a lot of the debris and the garbage and the parasites, like I say, that were robbing you of your nutrition. So I recommend that for most people, all people really, just because, like you say, if you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, you're carrying a lot of decades worth of toxins and parasites. And if you alleviate some of those, you'll just be a healthier, better person.
Wow, that is, it's a lot of great knowledge, and just some of the little things that you've thrown out there, Tony, can help a lot of people. Like the protein thing. Everybody is on jamming so much protein in their bodies, but you made a big comment. 50% of the protein converts to glucose. And I've been hearing a lot about that and reading a lot about that. So, between the dairy protein and the red meat, it could be a problem.
Think about this. A protein powder is a processed food, period. So it's already broken down, and the definition of processed foods basically is a machine has done what your body was supposed to do. When you eat food, whole foods, it has all the cofactors and enzymes and everything in that food that your body would recognize as whatever it is, or you eat an apple or whatever, and your body recognizes that. Well, say when you drink apple juice or whatever, then the part that's missing is the fiber and a lot of the other cofactors. You see what I'm saying? So that your body processes that apple juice at, 3-4 times the rate that it would process the apple. So when you take protein shake, whether it be whey or whatever, it's a lot of they always isolate it. So a lot of the elements that will actually make that protein work in your body are eliminated. So now your body doesn't use it as protein, but it is macro, so it will break it down and convert it to energy. And protein powders are expensive, so you don't want to be using your protein powders as energy. You want them for building blocks. So when you have your protein shake, you want to have it right after you train, not before. If you have it for breakfast, you're basically spiking your insulin because a lot of that's going to be converted into glucose. And if you haven't created the need for that energy or that protein right now, your body says, "Oh, I'll just use this for later," and it converts it to glucose and stores it. Luckily, if you're lucky, it'll store it where it's supposed to. But a lot of times, it converts it into glucose and shoves it in the fat cell. So you got to be careful when you start doing protein shakes. I recommend people always say, "Well, which protein? If you did take one, which one would you take?" Depending on what I'm doing, but for health, I would use hemp protein, and for building, I would probably use hydrolyzed whey or something like a MAP amino. A MAP amino would be something that you would use because it's already broken down, and if you take it right at the end of your workout, it will be utilized as protein. Are you there?
Wow.
Okay,
Tony, getting back. No, I actually had a little bit of a cutout there, so but you came right back, so everything's good. So getting back to the Somaderm, when you look at this product and you realize the fact that it's exclusive to us, no one else can have this product, but if you're in New You Life, like you can get vitamins anywhere. We're talking about protein powders, a lot of great products out there, but we can get them everywhere. The hemp oils, we can get them everywhere. With all due respect to all those companies, because I'm an advocate of the industry. But you can only get your hormones from New You Life. We're in a very precarious position. What do you think we can do with this product? How big is Somaderm, and what's getting ready to take place with New You Life?
Well, I've been keeping my eye on you guys, and I know that it's getting extremely popular. So the sky's the limit. You're going through growing pains, the supply and demand. Once you get that all worked out, then, like I say, the sky is the limit. I'm actually going to put my son's 28, lifetime natural body. Well, he's just turned into a bodybuilder. So I'm very curious to see what is going to do for him. He has absorption like me, so he has my doctor told me I have the cells of Superman. So when I that's why I can take a product and know right away if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I say the sky's the limit, and if people start applying some of the things that we just spoke about on this call about nutritional timing and making sure that, like I said, make sure your nutrition and your absorption is on point. The results and the sales and all that should just go through the roof.
That's awesome. Well, my friend, we've been on here for 25 minutes. You've given some great nuggets. I appreciate you spending the time tonight. Guys, go visit Tony's Facebook page, Toney Freeman, the X-Man, and you can get some additional information on him. And, Tony, we appreciate you. I'm excited you're using our product, and you're going to share it with your son, and you're starting to share it with people. And God bless you, and have an incredible evening. Thanks for sharing some of your knowledge.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me, brother.
Hey, you're welcome, guys. Hey, thank you, Tony, and we'll see you tomorrow night, the Opportunity Webinar, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everyone.